You alright there guys, Kieran here with another episode of Kieran's Movie Space, and I know that I'm a little bit late to this party, but I just wanted to record a quick episode to talk about the first trailer for Avengers 4, which has now been officially titled Avengers Endgame. And let's just talk about that for a second, because as a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I usually like to speculate about things like titles and storylines, and I remember walking out of Avengers Infinity War for the first time and saying that they should call Avengers 4 Avengers Endgame, and it turns out I got it right. Obviously I wasn't the only one who guessed it was probably the most obvious choice, but still I usually get stuff like this massively wrong, so I'm just excited that I got something right for once. As for the title itself, I think it's a really cool title. A lot of fans I saw online seemed a bit underwhelmed, but I think that was going to be the case no matter what they called this, because the expectations from fans were so unrealistically high. I mean, I've spent the last few months trying to figure out what they'd call the title, so really no matter what they'd call it, we were all going to be disappointed in some way. But yeah, I really like Endgame for the title. It obviously goes back to what Tony was saying in Age of Ultron and what Doctor Strange said to Tony just before he turned to dust. And it suggests that the film really will be a sort of ending for this era of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Moving away from the title though, let's talk about the actual trailer, starting with that incredible opening. Tony's lost in space. It looks like he's alone, so either Nebula just ditched him to die on Titan, or she's on the Benatar, and the trailer's just trying to make us think that Tony's alone, which is probably the most likely scenario, because I get that Nebula's a bit of a dick, but I don't think she'd just abandon Tony on a desolate planet to die. So she's most likely there in the Benatar with him, but for this trailer they really just wanted to show how alone and kind of screwed Tony is. So yeah, Tony's in the Benatar, and he's leaving this really emotional goodbye message for Pepper, who for all we know has turned to dust as well. And when I say emotional, I mean emotional. I saw this trailer for the first time at work, and honestly I nearly cried in front of everyone, which really wouldn't have been out of character for me, but don't worry, I managed to hold back the tears and maintain what's left of my dignity. But I've got to say that I really enjoyed the way that Marvel and the Russo brothers are promoting this film so far. They could have easily just thrown all of the action and all of the cool stuff into this trailer, but instead they went with this really heavy and emotional trailer that reminded us of the impact of Infinity War, and it just focused on these characters that we love. As for how I think Tony might make it back to Earth, I'm really not sure. There are quite a lot of possibilities. I saw a few fans online saying that Captain Marvel might find him on her way back to Earth, but that's too easy, right? Like, space is kind of a huge place. I mean, it would be a bit of a massive coincidence if Captain Marvel just happened upon Iron Man floating around in space. Unless Tony can maybe send out a distress beacon or something like that, maybe the Avengers find him, maybe Rocket goes looking for the other Guardians and finds Tony with Nebula. Honestly, who knows, maybe Pepper actually does suit up to go out looking for him. I saw that a lot on Twitter, and honestly, all of these would be quite cool to see, but I honestly have no clue how Tony might get back, if he even does. For all we know, this scene is actually from the end of the movie, and this is really how Iron Man dies, which would be pretty depressing, and I don't think that's what will happen, but it's just as likely as any of those other options, and it's still a very real possibility. Moving on though, the next thing we see in the trailer is the Marvel logo fade into dust, which was awesome, and then we get that incredible shot of Thanos' armor hanging up like a scarecrow, which I guess was taken out of the Infinity Gauntlet comic. Honestly, I've never read it, so I'm not 100% sure, but it certainly looks cool in the trailer. If I were a crow, I definitely wouldn't want to go near that field, especially because it looks like Thanos is going to be walking around there at some point, as the next shot shows us the Mad Titan doing his best gladiator walk through a field, and I kinda love that Thanos is just living a nice chilled out life. He did what he thought he needed to do, and now he's more than content to just live a solitary life in his hut, and that's all we see of Thanos in this trailer. We just get that small small glimpse of his armor, and then we see him walking through the field for just a second, and that's it. And I'm honestly starting to question how much we're actually going to see of Thanos in this movie, just because he was kind of the main character of Avengers Infinity War, but from the looks of this trailer, Avengers Endgame will have more of a focus on the Avengers as a team, and less of a focus on Thanos as the villain. So I'm not sure how much we're actually going to see of him in this film. Obviously, he's still going to have a sizable role because he is the main villain, but I do think it would be smart for the Russos to kind of give the Avengers their time in the spotlight this time around, but I guess we'll need to wait and see. So the next thing we see in the trailer, well actually it's what we hear that's important, because it's that awesome piece of dialogue from Black Widow. You know, she's talking about how the Avengers lost and Thanos did what he said he was going to do, and it's mixed with different shots of the Avengers. You've got that stunning shot of Cap crying and he's not got a beard, so what's that about? You've got Bruce looking at different screens that shows all of the missing or dead heroes, which includes Spider-Man, Shuri and Ant-Man, who we're going to talk about a bit later. Thor's wearing what looks like a homeless guy's outfit, and he looks really pissed, and like he should be. Like, he had the best shot at ending Thanos and he failed, so he'll likely be dealing with that guilt in this movie. And then we get to the absolute best moment of the entire trailer, because we see that shot of the hooded figure with the sword, and as soon as Cap says we lost family, he takes off his hood and we see that it's Hawkeye, or should I say Ronin. While he wasn't in Infinity War, I can only assume that Clint watched all of, or at least some members of his family turn to dust, and you can see all of that pain and all of that anger in his face. And I never thought I'd say that Hawkeye was the best character in an Avengers trailer, but he completely stole this for me. I can't wait to see what's in store for that character in this film, because for me there's nothing more interesting than a hero that's lost everything, someone who's literally been pushed right to the edge, and I actually think Hawkeye might be the character I'm most excited about heading into this film. The next shot in the trailer shows Cap and Black Widow in what looks like a Quinjet. Cap's wearing his costume from the Winter Soldier, which I still think is the best Captain America costume we've seen, and I'll admit that for a split second I did think this might have been from a time travel sequence or a flashback, but watching it back I realised that some things do look different. Nat's still got the blonde hair, but even with that I do still think that this sequence will have something to do with them messing around with time. There must be a reason why Cap needs to be back in his Winter Soldier outfit, and in that scene they are talking about a plan or a mission of some kind, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen there. But it's actually the moment after this one that I want to talk about, because we see that Cap's holding his old compass, you know, the one with the picture of Peggy in it, and that hit me really hard because I realised how far we've seen that character come since we first met him in the first Avenger. And it did occur to me in this moment that something might happen where we get to see Cap come back into contact with Peggy in some way, and I honestly don't think I would be able to contain the tears if that happened. I'd literally just be a mess at the back of the cinema. I mean, I probably will be anyway, but if we see Cap and Peggy together, that'll just add on to all the pre-existing tears and all the emotions. The next thing we see in the trailer is that epic title card with all the rubble kind of reforming the Avengers logo, and we get the Endgame title reveal, and I love that they saved that as well. They didn't even put it in the YouTube title. I love that Marvel really likes to surprise and entertain its audience, even with the titles and the trailers. After the title card though, we get this really hilarious moment with Scott Lang, which actually raises quite a lot of questions, because I would have thought that this film would take place almost immediately after Infinity War, but the fact that Cap asks if it's an old message tells me that some time has passed, so we might be months or even years in the future here. We've also got to wonder how Scott managed to get himself out of the quantum realm. Did he do it alone? Did he have help? Is that even Scott? Is it the current version of Ant-Man, or is it the one from the future? All of these are really good theories. I've seen loads of them online, and honestly, I really don't know, but I do have a feeling that Ant-Man and the quantum realm are going to be really important in this movie. I mean, how awesome would it be funny if instead of like Iron Man or Captain America defeating Thanos, it's Ant-Man. But like I said, I really have no idea. This has all just been speculating. I'm sure I got at least 95% wrong, because I thought I knew what to expect from Infinity War, and I was absolutely 100% completely wrong about everything. As for what I think about this trailer overall, I obviously really loved it. I'm a huge Marvel fan. I didn't really need a trailer because I'm already gonna go see this at least 5 times in the cinema. And wasn't Avengers Infinity War technically the trailer for this film? I mean, I would have been fine without a trailer, but I get it, they've got to market it for the general audience. With that said though, it was awesome to get a glimpse of what the MCU looks like after Thanos snapped his fingers, and somehow I am even more excited for this movie after watching this trailer, which I honestly didn't think would have been possible. Alright, that's it for my trailer breakdown and review. Let me know what you thought of the Avengers Endgame trailer in the comments section below. Do you like that name? Did you like the trailer? Let me know. Please like and share this review, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss another movie review, trailer review, or ranking. For now though, thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.